the stars are out on Friday Night Football. Vernon Adams and Dedrick Mills looking to kick off their 2026 campaign on the right foot. But Zach Collaros and the one and only Brady Oliveira looking to spoil the party. It is the Stamps and the Bombers coming up next. It is a Western showdown. Kicking off Friday Night Football for the first time since 2001. The Stampeders and the Blue Bombers are meeting in week number 1. Both teams making the quest to get back to Calgary in November for the 113th Grey Cup. Welcome to Friday Night Football. That sounds great, doesn't it? Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Steele as we get set for the Stampeders taking on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And look, we had an amazing Eastern clash last night between the Hamilton Tiger Cats and Montreal Alouettes. That one went the distance, plus a little bit more. And we're expecting the same tonight, Enoch.
Absolutely, we are, Kate. And we've been talking so much about the offensive stars, the receivers, the running backs, the quarterbacks, of course. I'm looking at a guy now, Markel Lee. He's a guy that was amazing for this defense last year, and he suffered a couple of injuries that kept him off of the field. He's coming back tonight, and he's got a lot to prove, but he is a true leader, and I'm watching out for him.
Yeah, I'm looking at, obviously, at Tim White. Everybody's looking at Tim White, but just to see how they integrate him into this offense, the relationship between him and Zach has been well spoken of. In preseason, they definitely had chemistry. I want to see how Tommy and them use Tim and try to get him the ball and move around.
Looking at these two running backs, and they don't play against each other, but I guarantee you they're trying to outdo each other. You remember when you played and there was a guy on the opposing team who played the same position, maybe you guys were on par, you were trying to outdo each other. I guarantee these two guys are trying to do that also. And also Zach, I mentioned this in the pregame, there's no one in the league right now who has more pressure on him than Zach Collaros. He's expected to go out there and perform. They have a lot of pieces around him. He needs to go out there and make it happen. Otherwise, it's going to be some fans in Winnipeg saying, do we need to move on and think about the future?
Milt, was there ever a receiver you looked at the other side of the field and said, I need to outdo you, or you just had to compete with yourself each and every night?
It was the mirror. That was it. Just looking in the mirror. That was it.
Sorry, that was a bit of a lob ball, was it? I completely did here. How much pressure is on Zach tonight, quickly? I mean, coming into this season, we know what happened last season, and now they've put enough guys around him. What do you think's on his shoulders tonight?
Milt, you were on point. There's a lot of pressure on Zach, especially coming off of the season that this team had last year. This year, they have a lot to prove.
Pressure what? Because they would, at some point, shift into the next phase of quarterback trying to find? Is that what?
Well, they were in competition for the dynasty. This is last year, right? Yeah. If he's not playing well, why would you keep playing?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out. A bit of a windy night in Calgary. We've got kickoff with Glenn and Dustin coming up next. Christine Bykoff of Nanaimo, BC. This is your chance to win big thanks to Save on Foods' $1 Million Touchdown to Win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Christine. Let's get you to Calgary. It's Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter.
The first Friday Night Football of the season brings us to Calgary for a big West Division battle between the Stampeders and the Blue Bombers. Winnipeg looking to get back on track after a 10-win season last year. Calgary took a step in the right direction, had 11 wins of their own, but with the Grey Cup here at home, you know they're going to want more, and that starts with Vernon Adams.
Yeah, big play. VA put up some pretty big numbers this first year as a Calgary Stampeder. How about 4,000 yards passing, the 11 wins you mentioned, and has an excellent win-loss record against the Bombers in his career at 7-3. His one more step is a Grey Cup. Zach Collaros, 144th start in Canadian football. He's a 2-time MOP, and he wants to lead his Bombers in an effort to right what went wrong last year.
12th season for Mike O'Shea. Grey Cups in 19 and 21. Longest-serving head coach in the Canadian Football League. Dave Dickinson going into year 10 as a head coach. 2-time Grey Cup champion as a coach as well. Winnipeg last year, lost all 3 games to Calgary. They'll look to change that on a windy day. At McMahon, wind gusting up to almost 60 kilometers an hour, but we are underway here in Calgary. And that first return from McAllister, and our first look at Vernon Adams.
5th in the CFL last year in passing, completed 65% of his throws for over 4,000, 4,247 with the 21 touchdowns. Vernon Adams, talking to him this week, said, got one more step, got to lead our team to a championship. That's his next one. He's put up big numbers wherever he's gone.
He's been excellent early in seasons as well. Last year he finished 11-6. They will start this on their own 31. And they'll start it with the handoff. And that'll be pushed ahead to about the 35. Let's take a look at this Calgary offense.
Well, the one change will be at right tackle, where William Barnes, in his 2nd year, signed at the end of last year and was on the practice roster. He gets the start at right tackle, and there is Dedrick Mills. Panel talked about it in the pregame and through the opening of this game tonight. The leading rusher in the Canadian Football League last year with 1,400 plus.
4 yards in that first touch for Mills, 2nd and 6. And we've got flags flying here early in Calgary.
Cam Lawson get a little itchy, get things started.
He's excited.
Getting them back.
He had 1 sack last year. He wants to get one early.
Winnipeg number 99. It's a 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
Getting a great opportunity. Cam Lawson out of Queens. You'll see just to the left of your screen, a little early movement there as he jumps into the neutral zone. And
second and a couple, so Calgary will opt to just push this straight ahead.
Interesting end of the year for both these teams when you look at Calgary in that semifinal versus the BC Lions. And looked like it was going into overtime. Dave Dickinson thought he had a great game plan, and he did. VA threw for over 300 yards. Dedrick Mills rushed for over 100. Better numbers than Nathan Rourke and the BC Lions, but the Lions had the ball last with 20 seconds to go, and that's all it took.
Quincy Vaughn got the job done on the quarterback sneak, pushing it ahead. Now VA, quick hitter, and that one incomplete, in and out of the hands of Genesis. Let's take a look at the Winnipeg defense.
Yeah, the Bombers finished 4th and went over to the East, and they had to make some changes in the offseason, bring in some more free agents than they usually do. One of them is Jake Serezin, and of course Willie Jefferson signed an extension. Kyrie Wilson will start at middle linebacker. Big shoes to fill there when you look at the history of the Bombers. And Reddick Cramdy will move from the dime spot back to free safety this year.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion for VA. Flush to the pocket, on the run, cuts it back, pushing ahead, and he's close. He's mighty close, about a yard short of a Calgary first down.
VA is one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league because of his talent in running the football, recognizing that he had the opening up the middle, didn't like what he saw in the coverage and pulled it down. And in our conversation this week, we talked about him running. He wants to take off and use his legs for sure again this year, but he wants to protect himself as well in the open field.
3rd and a yard, Vaughn pushing it ahead, he'll have it, and Calgary's offense going into the wind here in the first quarter will pick up another first down.
11 wins for the Calgary Stampeders last year, and had to really fight through some injuries. In fact, this is not really the ultimate Calgary lineup for 2026. On defense, they're missing Jalen Hutchings, Floa Remolade, and not because they're necessarily hurt right now. It's just Dave Dickinson wanted to keep them out maybe another week or two, make sure they're real fresh and they don't lose them early.
1st and 10 from the 52, slip on on the ground. Back to the line of scrimmage, but no further. Philpott's first touch of the season. Could be a big year for Jalen Philpott.
Yeah, I agree, man. He is poised to be that perennial 1,000-yard guy, just like his brother. Big start for his brother. What a great catch.
Yeah, that was okay.
Last night, yeah. And there's Reggie Begelton, who is again healthy, but just holding him out of week 1. Make sure he's 100% to start the year.
VA looks to his left, dumps it off at midfield, and that is incomplete. Looking for Brissett, could not hang on, and Calgary will be forced to kick it away on their first possession.
And not a real aggressive Calgary team in free agency, but Dejan Brissett was one of them, and he should help this receiving corps. But they're missing on offense 2 of the starters for this season. Clark Barnes is one, and you just saw Reggie Begelton.
There is the Rookie of the Year and the most outstanding special teams player, Vavel, back waiting at the 10.
Look at this setup. Live break, hit the line.
Bassett lets it go. This is into a strong wind. This will be taken just inside the 20, 40-yard kick, and Vavel will push it ahead back to about the 30, and we'll get our first look when we return at Zach Collaros in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers offense. A look at 2-time CFL MOP Zach Collaros, looking for a big bounce-back season here, Suits.
Yeah, 20 and 21. 21 and 22 is 2 MOP seasons. 20 was that missed year. 2-time All-CFL and 3 Grey Cup rings. 1 as a backup in Toronto, and 2 as the starter in those first 2 years of the 5 in a row Grey Cup appearances for the Bombers, which ended last year in the loss in that semifinal in Montreal.
Just 17 touchdown passes each of the last 2 years for Collaros after having 70 over a 2-year stretch. They'll started on the ground with Brady Oliveira, and he gets 7.
Yeah, so the Bombers went out after finishing 4th and having to cross over and made some changes. They brought in Jarrell Broxton from the BC Lions to play that right tackle spot, and of course they've got Stanley Bryant, the most decorated O-lineman in CFL history pretty much, and then Tim White in the receiving corps along with Tommy Neal. But Tim White, I think, is going to be a huge difference maker for this Bomber offense.
2nd and 3 for the Bombers on the road here in McMahon in Calgary. Back to Brady again. Broke a tackle, pushed it ahead, and is just shy, depending on the spot of the first down.
Talked to Michael O'Shea this week about that core group, Zach Collaros being one of them, Stanley Bryant, of course, being another. Almost put Brady Oliveira in that conversation as well, but they certainly have a bunch on defense. I asked him about the second half of the semifinal. He said, you know, we were down by 19, but when I saw our team come back, I knew we had to keep this core together. Make a few changes would be okay.
Pushing it ahead, Bryce Perkins has the first down for the Blue Bombers.
You know, a lot goes into it, but that was part of the decision. Let's take a look at this Calgary starting defense. Again, missing a couple of studs in the middle of that defensive line in Jalen Hutchings and Arimolade, but they do have Clarence Hicks playing tonight, and Markel Lee is starting at middle linebacker. Missed most of the season with an injury. Adrian Green led the team in interceptions at that wide side corner.
And Moncrief had an excellent year last year as well. Big part of this Calgary defense. Here's Collaros down the field, and he drops it in. Who else? Tommy Neal has his first regular season catch as a Bomber.
Yeah, Tommy Neal on a deep dig route. Again, one of the new acquisitions in free agency. According to Ed Tate, who writes for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, got an 18-yard gain there, who writes for the Bombers, Tommy Neal didn't get an offer from Saskatchewan. Now, there's only so much money. They, I guess, moved it in a different direction, but That's a little surprising based on last year.
5 touchdowns in 13 games last year with the Riders. Had just 2 touchdowns during his time in Toronto as they go back to Brady here on first down for some positive yardage.
Yeah, but how about the big catch? I mean, Tommy Neal, with a minute to go in the West Final against the BC Lions at home, Trevor Harris drives the field and with just seconds left hits Tommy Neal.
Just 1 season with the Riders, but a legend forever after making that catch.
Good point.
In that moment. 2nd and 8 from the Calgary 48. Past the midway point of the opening quarter here on Friday Night Football. Morris on the run to his right. He's going to keep it, looking for the 40, and he's forced out of bounds just short.
Well, it looks like it was a designed inside rush from Clarence Hicks, the defensive end, to come off the edge on an inside rush lane, but he doesn't have secondary contained. So he makes that inside move, and that opens up the edge for Zach Collaros. He doesn't like what he sees down in the coverage, so he just tries to get to that marker.
3rd and a long yard. Perkins back into the game. And he's patient with it, finds some space to the right edge, and picks up another Winnipeg first down.
Yeah, no Chris Strebler this year in Winnipeg, so Perkins will take care of those short yardage duty. And when you see already the impact Jarrell Broxton making in that right tackle, he went right off that side. And
not a bad idea.
Well, talking to the Bombers, including Michael O'Shea this year, we had a lot to talk about, a lot of new faces and new names. He kept bringing up Jarrell Broxton.
To take the best offensive lineman from one of your rivals is a massive get for Winnipeg. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 38 now. Collaros gets it away. He was pressured and taken down, and because of that, the throw falls incomplete.
So they finish 4th, and they know that they got a good core that can still get it done, so they want to keep that together but make some additions. So the Bombers go out and get Tim White. That's going to be huge. Jake Serezna, Tommy Neal, who we've talked about, and maybe most importantly at the end there, offensive coordinator Tommy Condell added to the group and reunites with Zach Collaros, who had him early in his career when he was a young buck.
Be interesting to see how they handle Brady Oliveira in the running game. Tommy Condell likes to throw the ball more than any offensive coordinator in the league over the last 6 or 7 years. Now here's Collaros. Steps up in the pocket, hit as he throws, and he drops it in just inside the 20, and he finds Tim White for the first time this season.
Number 12.
Kyle Wilson, a little game here with Miles Brown, a little inside game where they show blitz and then they both drop out of there. And Collaros just buys a little extra time so that Tim White can find the soft spot. Just sit down the field, 19-yard gain and a first down.
Tim White, 5 years with Hamilton. His last 4 years, over 1,000 yards and at least 7 touchdowns in each of them. 31 touchdowns in his last 4 seasons. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 19. He's back into the belly of Brady. Pushes down. Touchdown, Winnipeg. Brady Oliveira gets it started.
Brand new contract extension for Brady Oliveira in the offseason. Wanted to get off to a great start. How about opening drive? Find the end zone.
That's 19 yards, pretty much untouched.
Yeah, they blew it up front.
Castillo out for one more, and he smooths it through, in Winnipeg on top. 7-0. It's a 10-play, 80-yard drive that took just under 6 minutes. 19-yard touchdown run for Brady Oliveira. 3 rushing touchdowns last season for Brady Oliveira. He's got his first early in this campaign.
We're going to give you a nice low-angle look at this and watch the block by Gabe Wallace, the guard, number 61, as Brady Oliveira presses the line of scrimmage, and he talks about many times something he learned from Andrew Harris. Press the line of scrimmage, be patient, let the block set up. Gabe Wallace got his man, and he found the end zone untouched.
Bombers offensive line going to work early in this one. Now this will be dropped over the head of McAllister. And he takes the knee, and that'll be a point for the Bombers. Vernon Adams will have the ball back when we return. His team trailing 8-0 after Zach Collaros puts together 37 yards through the air, and Brady has 31 on the ground for the Bombers. Vernon Adams Jr. will get the ball here, trailing 8-0, but was excellent last year with Calgary.
Yeah, and this is the numbers we're talking about that he has done and put up in his career. Winner in BC that year in 23, almost 5,000 yards passing, 11 wins, playoff position. Calgary, same thing, went to the semi, threw for 334 in the semifinal in BC in the semifinal this year.
Started last year 5-1. They'll hand it off to Mills, and he is wrapped up. Jones and Griffin, I believe, both in there after a couple of yards for Mills.
And, you know, the thing about Vernon Adams is he gets all his weapons out there. His offensive line is excellent across the board and are just going to get better. Christopher Fortin at center in his second year. Remember, he was rushed in there with the injury to Bryce Bell last year and had to play at center as a rookie. Did very well.
Jones with the tackle. Had 102 tackles last year for the Bombers. Some early movement here with 3.5 to play in the first.
Vernon Adams has done this a couple of times in this game already tonight, using his snap count to draw the Bombers offside. He's staggered snap count, don't go on the same sound every time. Quarterback can, what it does is if you get a couple of offsides early in a game, it gives you a split second longer in the pocket, because now that defensive line doesn't want to jump offside again a third time, so they take a split second before they got to understand.
Even more so in the first game of the season?
Well, in the first game defensively, you want to get to the ball. You're so fired up.
I was going to ask you, who has the advantage early in the season? Offenses or defenses?
Well, I've always said defenses because it really is a simpler setup. I mean, it's drop to your spot and then go to the ball.
Offside, Winnipeg number 44, procedure. Calgary number 67. Those penalties offset. Replay second down.
Okay, well, we'll let that one go.
Offsetting penalties at the line.
But having said that, when you look at the quarterbacks in the league right now, all veteran quarterbacks, some going to the Hall of Fame automatically.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised we see some big offensive output early in this season.
2nd and 8. Adams with some time. Has a ton of room to his left. Now goes back over the middle, and he's got a first down as he finds Dejan Brissett.
Breakout year for Dejan Brissett in Toronto last year with almost 1,000 yards, 6th in the CFL in that target to catch ratio, which is so important. How many times are you targeted and how many times do you actually catch it? And he was 6th in the league in that category, almost at 80%.
Played 71 games with the Argos after being selected 2nd overall in 2020. Now they'll stretch it out. Big hole. Lots of room. Mills is still going to go. Rumbles ahead down inside the 45. Almost all the way to the 40. A 16-yard pickup for Dedrick Mills.
Both these backs are multi-talented. I mean, you got guys that can play the tough game in the middle between the tackles, play that smash mouth type football, but you also got guys that in one step can take that jump cut and separate from the defenders immediately. Both these guys can do it. That was Mills' turn.
Brady had 19 yards on the touchdown. Mills with 16 there as Calgary looks for an immediate response after falling behind here at home. Back on the ground, right up the middle. Mills again down inside the 30. If it's going to work, why not?
Yeah, stick with it. Absolutely. It opens up your passing game and your play action game for Vernon Adams. And once that defense starts to get really tuned in to number 26 and where he was, I mean, you take a look at those rankings, 1,400 yards, we've talked about that, 250 carries to get there. But first in that 10-plus yards, we've already seen a couple tonight.
27 yards on these last 2 touches for last year's rushing leader. 33 yards so far in the game, and he'll stand in there to the left of Vernon Adams. 3 options out to the right for VA. Goes over the middle, but that is batted down. Incomplete.
Did Willie get it?
Of course it was Willie. At 16 last year. Give him 1 here in 26.
And he is now at career 95 knockdowns at the line of scrimmage. Watch 5, out of his stance, little bull rush, and then he sticks his hands up and becomes an oak tree.
It's got to be so annoying for quarterbacks when you're like, oh, I got somebody open.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Willie's arm just comes up out of nowhere. Big play on this drive, 2nd and 10. 2 options out to the left for Adams, 3 to his right, looks to his left. He's going to throw to his left, and he's got a completion and a first down as he gets McAllister involved in the offense.
Yeah, this is one of the players that have changed teams, come back from the NFL, whatever you want to say, that is new to a team this year across the league that no one's talking about, and maybe be one of the big ads in the entire league for a team, and here in the Calgary Stampeders. To get Tyreek McAllister back from his NFL time, he was in Hamilton and was the all-purpose yards leader with the Ticats back in 23.
1st and 10 into the red zone, first time this year. We'll go on the ground again to take it inside the 15-yard line as time ticks down here in the first quarter. And an excellent drive being put together here by the Stampeders. We are off and running on Friday Night Football. Bombers with an early 8-0 lead, but Vernon Adams and the Stampeders knocking on the door, looking to respond here at home. Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading 8-0 after their first quarter of the season. But Suze, we talked about the 2 elite running backs coming into this game, and as advertised in the first quarter.
Yeah, not often when you look at that stat line we just saw do you see more rushing yards by both teams than passing yards in Canadian football, but we do in the first quarter because of the quality at the tailback position for both these teams. Brady Oliveira and the numbers are almost identical, 4 for 31 for Brady Oliveira, 5 for 37 for Dedrick Mills in the first quarter. And what it'll do is open up play action. Now both these quarterbacks can fake it to their tailbacks and get out on the edge.
Last year, excellent across the league with 6 running backs hitting 1,000 yards on the ground. 2nd and 6. Calgary looks to march on from the Winnipeg 14. Adams with time near side, and he drops it in, and that'd be a first down as he goes right back to McAllister.
I've seen a little sprinkle of the changes for both of these teams in the first quarter as well, and now into the second with McAllister getting involved on offense. Such a dynamic and important returner for the Stamps this year, who really haven't had a great returner in some time.
Well, he's got the potential to certainly get the job done.
Oh, yeah.
9th play of this drive as Calgary will work from the Winnipeg 7. Mills will step out to the right of Adams. That's where they'll go. Mills trying to find the end zone, pushing is right there, picking up 6 yards on the play.
This is the Dedrick Mills drive, really, that finished the first quarter and went now into the second. That was a big set. Come in with some extra offensive linemen blocking help. 43 yards for Dedrick Mills so far in this game. He's almost halfway to 100.
Quincy Vaughn looks to finish this job for Calgary, pushing it there, and he's in. Touchdown, Stampeders. How's that for an immediate answer? First touchdown of the year for Vaughn. He had 6 last season.
Is he your fantasy or Tommy Stevens?
It's tough. Short yardage QBs don't get the love they deserve.
You short yardage QB. Quincy Vaughn would be a good one at 6'4", 253 in that short yardage game.
Great answer. Great job right there.
9 plays, 70 yards. Once again, just under 6 minutes. So Calgary firing right back, and that is knocked through as well by Mikatambi. Vernon Adams, Dedrick Mills leading the way. Quincy Vaughn finding the end zone. Dramatic is this? A song of speed and power about Brady Oliveira and Dedrick Mills. And just as far as elite as you can find in the league.
The new king last year in 2025. But in 24, Oliveira was not only the MOP of the league, he was also the outstanding Canadian that year. And the rushing title went to him for 2 straight years, and now Dedrick Mills has it. And in that end of that first quarter and beginning of this second, they've established themselves.
Well, at the way they're running here tonight, you might need a dragon to actually stop them, because they've both been excellent so far this evening. Calgary will kick it away, this time with the wind at their back. That will be taken by Vavel. Vavel finds the near side, breaks 1 tackle, and pushes it out to about the Winnipeg 33. Brady Oliveira, 4 touches, 31 yards, and a touchdown in this one.
So this is not a down year. So I know for some it felt like it wasn't a great year. Remember, early in the season, he was a little nicked up. But if he gets to 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, he'll be the only Canadian to do that.
He'll only be the 8th player ever to do that in league history. If he can find another 1,000, and it's off to a pretty good start early in this one. They'll go to him again, pushing it ahead, and eventually stopped by Sean Peterson Jr.
Really attacking between the tackles, both these teams. Both the Dedrick Mills runs were right up the middle. Brady's so good with his patience, letting those blocks set up.
6 yards on that one. 6 hard yards for Brady. Now Zach looking to throw, drops it back. Pressure coming, and he's going to be taken down. Clarence Hicks picks up where he left off last year. Had a dozen, and he's got his first sack of this season.
Well, there is your nominee for the Calgary Stampeders for outstanding defensive player. Clarence Hicks led his team in sacks, as you mentioned. Look at that move. Just quick with the hands, out and around and underneath. One of the most decorated offensive. They should just call it the Stanley Bryant Award.
They might eventually. You're not wrong.
But that's beating Stanley Bryant saying something.
There's Sheen will kick it away. This is going to be bobbled. McAllister will pick it up. Stayed on his feet momentarily and then stumbles down after a 44-yard kick from Jamison Sheen. And McAllister brought in for his returning abilities. little bit of a bubble. The 2026 FIFA World Cup kicks off on June 11th as Mexico takes on South Africa at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. And then Canada's first match of the tournament goes on June 12th. They'll be facing Bosnia and Herzegovina at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Catch both games live on TSN, CTV, and Crave.
Little soccer tournament going on there?
Other type of football, technically. It's going to be an empty backfield here for Vernon Adams. Team trails by a single point. 3 to the left, 3 to the right. Pressure up the middle. Takes off. Now he's going to look way down the field. Drops it in there. Hauled in at the 25 by Phil Potts.
Plays created because of the mobility of Vernon Adams is extending the play, and Philpott just stayed with it over the top, knowing his quarterback has the arm talent to get it to him. 51-yard gain for Jalen Philpott, and he's picking up where his brother left off last night.
Philpott's putting the league on notice here on opening weekend. Calgary right back in business. 1st and 10 from the Winnipeg 25. VA fakes the handoff to Mills. Quick hitter. And Brissett will take that down inside the 15.
Consistent. You get 1,000 out of Philpott, and Brissett improves just a little bit this year. He's over 1,000 from his season. What about Reggie Begelton and when they start adding those guys?
Healthy Reggie would go a long way for this offense as well. 4 receivers to the short side right for Adams. He's going to tuck it in the belly of Mills. Puts on the brakes, takes it back, and is stopped in his tracks. No gain, back to the original line of scrimmage. Good job keeping him contained that time.
I believe it was Tony Jones that stepped up the field to make the play. Defensively, 116 tackles last year, led the Bombers.
Mills will check out of the game. McAllister comes back in, stands right next to Adams. Now he'll flare out the slot to the right. VA pressure in his face, sends it to the end zone, almost intercepted, but there's a flag back by the quarterback, and you know what that probably means.
Well, according to Vernon Adams, it's a late hit on the quarterback, roughing the passer.
Here's another look at it.
Jaden Woodby is in the A-gap.
Grade 2 roughing the passer.
That's the
Winnipeg number
gap
3.
between
It's not a bad first down at the 1-yard line.
Between center and guard. And the newcomer, Jaden Woodby, went right down that A-gap. Late hit and helmet contact as well.
The ball will be placed on the Winnipeg 1. Adams will stay in as opposed to bringing in Quincy Vaughn. As Mills to his left. Right up the middle. Touchdown, Calgary. Dedrick Mills finds the end zone. And the Stampeders go on top.
That Bomber defense might have been a little confused. They were trying to get aligned properly when Vernon Adams snapped the ball. When you're a little unorganized down on the goal line, it happens in a split second. Just a sliver is all Dedrick needs to cross that goal line.
He had 11 touchdowns last season. All CFL running back. And now Jude Tandy puts another one through. It's a 5-play, 76-yard drive in just 2.5 minutes. Philpott for 51, and then Mills Colares with the touchdown. Well, anything Brady Oliveira can do, I can also do, says Dedrick Mills.
Well, Calgary's 2 drives ago, they went to Dedrick Mills a ton. That opens up the passing game a little bit. And of course, Jalen Philpott gets that 51-yarder. Dejon Brissett, 5 plays, 76 yards, penalty aided on the roughing the passer, and then Mills in the end zone.
Winnipeg opened up an 8-0 lead. Calgary has responded with back-to-back touchdown drives. Babel running into a little bit of trouble, stayed on his feet, and got it out just beyond the Winnipeg 20. Here's a look at Colares so far tonight. 2 of 3 for 37 yards.
When your run game is going, you're not going to have huge numbers, so we'll see if the Bombers go to more play action on this drive.
Nearing the midway point of the second quarter, Winnipeg's only ran 11 plays offensively. So we'll see if they can sustain a drive here. It's just their 3rd possession of the game. They'll fake the handoff. Now Colares has some time. Man wide open. It was Wilson, but it falls incomplete.
Even the veterans run into this every now and then, and it looked like Zach Colares just had an issue with his footwork and technique on the throw. Just like he was kind of hopping into it, didn't really take the big step, and then one hopped it to Wilson, who was open.
Into the wind as well, mind you. I believe the wind's dying down a little bit. 2nd and 10. Colares, 4-man pressure, gets it down the field, and this time on the other end of it, Tommy Neal has his 2nd catch of the game.
Zach Colares told us in our Zoom call this week that in practice and training camp, he thought Tommy Neal, and so did a lot of other guys, he thought Tommy Neal looked just like Andy Fantus, to a point that they started calling him Andy in practice.
Got a rabbit on the field, and he found some space at midfield, and he's gone the other way.
Now a race between Dedrick Mills, Brady Oliveira, and that guy.
Makes random appearances at McMahon throughout the season.
The king of the jump cut, that rabbit.
Oh, he can move, can't he?
Oh, yeah. Straight to the beer hut.
But 2 catches for Tommy Neal.
So we didn't even ask him about, really, we weren't getting into the Tommy Neal discussion.
Talking with Zach.
And with Zach Colares, and he goes, oh, by the way, guys, Tommy Neal is Andy Fantus. I mean, they are identical, and Colares played with Fantus, who is now in the replay center at times. Not sure if he's there tonight, but he played with Fantus early in their careers.
So if anybody would know, Colares be one of the few. They'll move White in behind him, Wilson as well. Now they'll give it to Brady. Pushes it into that defensive line and gets a few hard yards, 5 of them, which will set up a good 2nd down.
So Colares and Fantus played together in Hamilton in 2016, 2017, and just look how identical they are. 1'6'4", Fantus a little bit taller, Neal 6'3", a little bit heavier, but run the same, waggle the same towards the line of scrimmage. And hey, if Tommy Neal has close to Andy Fantus' kind of career, he's going to be a player.
You'll get a cereal box. Fantus flakes. Remember, Neal flakes doesn't have the same ring to it. Colares under pressure on the run. As he stumbles, he drops it off. And waiting for it was Brady Oliveira. Not going to be a 1st down, but what a play from Zach Colares.
Yeah, highlight play that's not going to get it done, but fun to watch. And we'll show it to you one more time as Colares is trying to make it happen. He understands the urgency now after the Vernon Adams back-to-back drives. What? They'll have to kick it away.
McAllister waiting. Jamison Sheen set to let it fly from about his own 35. Gets it away cleanly. McAllister, 41-yard kick, takes it back just outside the 35. And Vernon Adams, after putting together back-to-back touchdown drives, will get the ball back here with a 6-point lead.
We've got to shift our attention now a little bit to what the Bomber defense may not be doing to try and get in this guessing game. On defense, you just hate when you're guessing between the run and the pass. When they've established the run, now you've got your focus on the defensive line like Jake Serezna on Dedrick Mills, and then all of a sudden Vernon Adams hits that deep shot to Jalen Philpott. So now Jordan Younger's got to say, okay, let's get back to what we do well.
Drive starts on the 36, quickly, far side of the field, fouled, and Tevin Jones can't hang on. Major Williams there in coverage.
Mario Houston no longer on that wide side corner. Major Williams plays that spot or into the boundary with Dedrick Nichols. And a catchable throw to Tevin Jones, but Major Williams just helping him with that incompletion. A little assist there.
They'll line up again at the top of your screen. 3 options to the right for VA. Looks to the left. In trouble. Trying to escape. He will not. Taken down. Serezna, among others, getting the job done defensively for Winnipeg.
Yeah, they just had to settle down on the sideline, get back to doing what they do well. Major Williams comes up, makes a hit on Tevin Jones to get Vernon Adams in second and long. And that defense with just a 4-man front is just going to play in their gaps. Good, solid push and basically just collapsing the pocket together. Serezna gets home.
Serezna, 1 sack last season. 40 on the TSN top 50. That kick just gets away. And now be brought back by Babel. Babel near side, stays on his feet, gets a block, finds midfield, still going. Babel, can he find the end zone? No. They'll track him down. Quincy Vaughn ended up making the tackle. There's our first glimpse of Babel so far this season. 54 yards.
CFL's most outstanding special teams player. Bouncing to the outside. That's a long, wide field return. But he does get the corner, then a cutback, and up past midfield. Nice return for Babel. Get the 26 campaign off and running.
Burst onto the scene last year and was an absolute difference maker. And that flips the field for the Bombers. Spark that they needed. Colares with time over the middle, and that is caught by Daniels, who was drafted this past year, 10th overall in 2025. And he's a big body at 6'6", 270.
Well, yeah, he's like a tight end. And you know, we are evolving possibly back to a little more tight end stuff. CFL, I mean, that's going way, way back. There hasn't been tight ends in the league for a long time, but Javon Catoy out in BC is close to one, and Dante Daniels, the Bombers traded to get to that pick.
They moved
to get him
from 13 to 10 to get their hands on him.
Unique athlete.
He's got his first CFL catch now. They'll hand it off. Brady Oliveira down to the 5, and he'll be stopped short of his second touchdown. Damon Webb making the touchdown saving tackle.
Another big block by Gabe Wallace up front.
Opening the door for Brady Oliveira as we hit 3 minutes here at McMahon, and we're locked into a good one between the Stampeders and Bombers out west.
Enoch, what did we talk about in the pregame?
Vernon Adams Jr.
Davis.
Clarence Hicks.
Milton.
The running backs.
The only thing we missed.
Bravo.
Join us at the half.
How can you forget Vavel?
Yeah, come on, guys.
They hit all the other big names, and the big names in this game have come to play so far.
It's great when in the pregame show we talk about what actually goes on in the field.
First and goal from the 5. Polaris back in the end zone, looking for White, but there is a flag. It looked like White was held up ever so slightly on the play, and that's why he didn't get there.
That shit trash.
Well, clearly, Adrian Green doesn't like the
Pass
call.
interference. Calgary number 0. It's an automatic first down at the 1-yard line.
He disagrees with it, but let's take a look. There's Tim White. He's playing out at that wideout spot here. And we'll post to the back of the end zone. A little bit of a grab.
So it'll be first and goal from the Stampeders 1-yard line.
Like it, don't like it, Coach. Don't like it. Not much.
Don't love it. Perkins, touchdown first in the Canadian Football League for Bryce Perkins as he made that one look easy, and we're tied at 14.
What's my man?
Out of Virginia, Bryce Perkins playing that short yardage role. A couple years with the Rams, UFL, and good training camp. He gets the score. Yeah, I'm with you on the PI.
Yeah.
A little soft on that PI.
Perkins, UFL MVP with Michigan, Super Bowl with the Rams, and that is pushed through, and Winnipeg retakes the lead, 15-14. 4 plays, 31 yards in just a minute and 17 seconds. Set up, though, by Vavel's 54-yard return.
Right, don't take anything away from the drive and the good run by Brady Oliveira. This is the penalty, and you can be the judge here. A little bit of contact on the right hand. You know, and I think if they went to replay on that, in fact, if there wasn't a call and they went to replay, they probably would have called PI because of how Tim White turned.
Was there a slight turn with the hip?
Yeah,
right?
like the hand contact wasn't that bad. I mean, it was soft, but you saw Tim White on that second replay we just saw. He got kind of turned where his shoulder pads turned as well, and that's usually going to draw a flag.
Still didn't have to love it.
No.
But you can see why with the little, almost, it wasn't even much of a grab. It was sort of as his hand came down, he gave him a little turn, right?
Yeah. But a good run by Brady Oliveira and great return by Vavel.
Well, and it's not like the Bombers were at the 30 and they got put, they were at the 5. They likely would have finished the job anyway. And we've got a early season heavyweight back and forth here between the Bombers and the Stampeders. Sun's starting to come out after storm clouds were looming for most of the first half as well.
What up?
This kick will drop in just inside the 15. McAllister hammered at the 30. You could hear the crunch up here in the press box. And hey, we're really high at McMahon here.
Football's back. Canadian football's back, and the special teams equally as important. How about this hit?
Pay the price in the return game. McAllister back after a 2-year hiatus from the CFL. That'll get you involved in a hurry. Now they'll hand it off again. More room. And a lot of room to rumble up to midfield. Dedrick Mills takes it down to the 40 before he's stripped up by the safety, Brenna Crabtree. And Mills and Oliveira are putting on a show in Calgary.
Aren't they? That's exactly what's going on. Kyrie Wilson gets caught in the down block right in the middle of your screen, and out comes Dedrick Mills. They're taking turns now.
39 yards for Mills.
I heard the panel talk about it before the game about how they don't play against each other, but I guarantee they're looking across and probably going to look at the numbers as well when they're trying to outdo the guy on the other side of the ball.
Mills is at 82, Brady's at 64. Now VA, one-on-one coverage, far side, there's a flag. Yeah, Brissett tried to one-hand it, but could not haul it in.
It's Jonathan Moxey on the corner.
Pass interference, Winnipeg number 2. Automatic first down, the spotted foul.
There's the two principals on this play. Jonathan Moxey's just going to play in that cushion position, and then on the double move makes contact well beyond that 5-yard zone. And that's when the flag came out. He thought he got pushed.
Moxey brought in as a veteran corner. Last couple of years in Hamilton, spent 4 years right here in Calgary with the Stamps. 1st and 10 from the Winnipeg 25. They'll hand it off. That's McAllister this time.
How about that cut? How about that cut where he put the brakes on? Cut back inside. I know it wasn't a big run. It's not a 10-yarder, but watch this cut from behind here. Let's just, oh! Left foot in the ground, and he just changes directions in the blink of an eye.
It's a good change of pace back there with Mills. I mean, Mills can move as well, but they're different types of offensive weapons.
Well, you can get him out of the backfield in the passing game, too, the hitch game. Bubble screens.
Mills back in on a 2nd and 7. He'll move over to the right of Vernon Adams, who's got 3 options out to his right. Looks in that direction. Now he'll fire to the end zone. Got it! Hauled in, touchdown, Calgary. Eric Brooks on the receiving end of a dive from the air.
Eric Brooks was discovered in the last 4 games of the year, really, for the Calgary Stampeders. They figured out really what they had in Eric Brooks. In one of those games against Edmonton, had 5 for 136 yards, and that's when they said, hey, we got a keeper here. That's a nice catch. Took the tremendous concentration to bring that down because the coverage was in his sight line back to the football.
Another one knocked through. Calgary's lead back to 6. Brooks had 2 touchdowns last season. He's got his first of 2026, and it completes a 4-play, 79-yard drive that took just 51 seconds off the clock. What an entertaining first half.
Well, yeah, that's just who get the ball. You asked me early in the game whether or not it was defense advantage or offense advantage at this point of the season. Let's just say it's offense in a game and a half.
It looks like it.
In a game and a half, because back-to-back some returns that have helped out field position for sure. And then here's the last touchdown, but Zach has time before the end of the half.
Minute and 58 seconds. Saw 57 points. Season opener last night. We've got 36 in the first half here at McMahon on just the 2nd night of the season.
By the way, that 57 points scored per game continues to trend up. I mean, last year was over 52.
52.9 to be exact.
Which is as high as it's been in what, 10, 15 years?
Yes, it was since 2017.
So seeing a upward trend in points scored. You like a lot of points scored. As a former safety, ouch, but okay.
As a play-by-play guy, I love it. Give me all the touchdowns. Now, this is interesting. The wind has completely changed direction in about the last 3 minutes of game time. So Calgary started this quarter with a strong wind at their back, and now they're actually going to be kicking it into a strong wind the other way.
Well, maybe deferring when you won the toss wasn't the best choice if it keeps changing directions.
Valvo waits. He gets it at the 10. Once again, takes it out beyond the 30. Another solid return for last year's Rookie of the Year.
Lots of time for Zach Collaros to drive the football and put some more points on the board here. This has really been the showcase at the running back position in this first half. Brady Oliveira for the Bombers, Dedrick Mills. Snaps.
Zach is 5 of 7 for 58 yards. VA is already over 100, has a touchdown pass. Winnipeg will start on their own 33, trailing by half a dozen. They'll give it to Brady again. And, you know, they're getting a touch on him around the line, but he's busting through and gets 4 more.
Doesn't get enough credit for catching the ball out of the backfield. Over 500 yards last year doing that. And takes great pride in it, too. Both these backs, their #1 priority will surprise you. Protecting the quarterback in the passing game.
Got to look after these veteran quarterbacks. Brady had 61 catches last year. Winnipeg's just 3 for 7 on second down so far tonight. Collaros way down the field, lays it out there for Wilson. No! Incomplete, was working against Damon Webb, and neither of them could haul it in.
Little stunt up front from the Calgary defense with Clarence Hicks and I believe Miles Brown as they're going to twist up here at the, and it's picked up nicely initially, but Clarence Hicks gets in the face of Zach Collaros and he does get it away, gives Wilson a chance, but Damon Webb had a couple of pick sixes last year, one against the Bombers. He's right there.
This kick will bounce and bounce and bounce all the way into the end zone. That was a big kick with the wind at the back. 74 yards is what I'm being told. Yeah, 74-yard kick. Trickles into the end zone, and we got a 5-point ball game.
Still time.
I was waiting for you to say that because I was going to say.
Just saying.
Now VA gets the ball with 74 seconds. And he's connected on a deep one. And Mills has broke one for 39. Can they find a big play to move this ball in Winnipeg territory? He'll go over the middle. Almost intercepted. Had a beat on that one.
Evan Holm finally got over the hump when it comes to recognition that he has deserved for probably 2 or 3 years. He was a nominee for Outstanding Defensive Player for the Bombers. That ball was tipped at the line of scrimmage, but Evan Holmes was coming downhill. In fact, the tip may have caused the problem for Holmes, or he picks that.
Second, and they still need the full 10. Fakes the pass, drops it back to Mills on the drive, pushes it ahead. First down, Calgary with just over a minute remaining.
You have confidence in your run game when you're running the draw on 2nd and 10. This is how Dedrick Mills in the run game for Calgary ended the season, and picking it up where they left off.
They'll give it to the running back one more time as Mills, that's his 11th carry of the first half. Heavy workload, but doing a lot with it. 95 yards and a touchdown for Mills in the opening couple of quarters here on Friday Night Football. Clock will tick as VA steps up with 4 receivers out to his wide side right. Tevin Jones One-on-one to his left. Steps up in the pocket. Now he's going to go for a run. He's got the first down. He's got it out of bounds with 34 seconds. VA gets those legs working.
I say this to all the running quarterbacks when we have our Zooms. When you run, would you please get out of bounds? Because you're too important to the game. And VA smiled when I said it to him. He goes, yeah, I got you. I know what you mean. But we still got to get the first down.
You got to try to get the first down, but if you get the first down, you see a little bit of space.
Yeah, get out of bounds.
Get out of bounds.
Yeah, I hear you.
After the scramble from the quarterback, Calgary works from the Winnipeg 48. VA has this one batted down. Willie Jefferson almost got there for the sack, but he gets a hand on the ball. Second knockdown of the half for Willie.
With a leader in knockdowns in CFL history is Eddie Davis, former defensive back. And Willie just 17 behind him. Take 2 more, so now 15 behind him.
He had 16 last year.
Possible. Become the all-time leader.
So a 2nd and 10 for Adams. Winnipeg's going to send a bunch. VA just heaves it up far side. One-on-one. And that falls in behind Tevin Jones.
Seems like the sun's coming off that corner of McMahon Stadium too. That's the angle that Tevin Jones was fighting with, dealing with. Yeah, that's a tough one, especially on a fade route like this. I mean, it's just a go route, and he's trying to find that football. He's a little late reacting to it. I'm not complaining about the sun, don't get me wrong.
Oh, it's nice. It's come out here late in the half, leading to a beautiful Friday night. Bassett will kick this away for Calgary. That'll hang up there. Babel takes it just inside the 10, a 41-yard kick with 16 seconds left on the clock. Kate in the panel coming up at the half. Lots to break down from this one.
Yeah, and they were all over it in the pregame show when they were talking about the running backs and 2 veteran quarterbacks going at it, points on the board. And in the second half and during halftime, the Calgary Stampeders are going to honor the 2001 Grey Cup champion Calgary Stampeders. Wally Buono's in the house. And guess who played in that 2001 Grey Cup game? It was Calgary versus Winnipeg.
Milt Stegall.
Milt Stegall played in that game.
I'll give it to Brady one more time.
Now,
25-year anniversary of this.
It didn't quite work out the way that Milt wanted it to work out, although this is some kind of catch, Milt. Like, come on, double coverage. Nice.
Went up and got it.
Yep. Quite get the result.
No, I mean, you probably would want to talk about the catch.
He doesn't even want to go there. He's not even going to go there. Great catch, though. Wow.
First half of Friday Night Football this season is in the books. And Calgary and Winnipeg, they put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, and the running backs led the way. I mean, Dedrick Mills and there. Brady Oliveira, as advertised, came out chugging. I mean, these guys were picking them up, putting them down. Started about 5-7 minutes into the first quarter, and then they just started to take control. Now, again, 2 really good offensive linemen. You have to have that offensive line work to get a good running game going. And Dedrick Mills got it done in that first half. He's already at 100.
11 carries for Dedrick Mills, had the touchdown as well. The team over 100 yards rushing in the first half. And after what he did last year, leading the league with 1,409 yards, he stands by with Danielle Bain.
Diedrich, there's lots of familiarity with this offense as you guys try to build off last year. What's the feel through 2 quarters here tonight?
I mean, it feels good, man. The offense doing their job. The O-line is giving us the holes, giving the quarterback the protection and the time to get the ball off. I mean, just all going so good right now. So you got to capitalize on it in the second half, too.
You told me you wanted to level up your game this season. You're putting on a clinic out there so far tonight, but so is Brady. What's it like to have that competition, and how fun is it?
I mean, it's great, man. He's a good running back, man. So I love competing against him every time we play against each other, even in the game, even the weeks that we don't play each other, just looking at his stats, looking at my stats, you know what I mean, comparing each other, and you know what I mean, I'm trying to get to the top, trying to get to where he at, you know what I mean, trying to be number 1, so yeah, man.
Good luck in the second half.
Yes, man, thank you.
All right, Kate, big matchup here in Calgary. It's been a fun one so far as we send it to you for halftime.
It certainly has, Danielle, and sometimes TV just works out so perfectly, doesn't it? Back alongside Enoch Mwamba, Davis Sanchez, Milt Stiegel. In the pregame, we said, you know, these 2 guys, there's no doubt they're competing against each other. But the best part of that interview right now, and this is why we love the CFL, it's the honesty. He could have said, oh, I'm just playing for my team. Oh, I'm just, concentrating on my own stats. No, he's like, I want to be the best in this league. And who's he looking at? He's looking at Brady Oliveira as the other running back on the other side. Diedrich Mills has 95 yards already. Brady Oliveira has 75. Battle of the running backs, you are getting it full platter, full display in this game.
Don't be surprised if they both go into halftime and say, can I see the stats? I want to see what's going on. They won't go that far. But, I mean, Glenn, he mentioned it, how these guys are competing against each other. Of course, yes, the ultimate goal is to win the game, but every player wants to be the best at their position. And being the best at the running back position is what? Leading the league in rushing yards. Who did that last year? Diedrich Mills. Before that, who was it? Brady Oliveira. So those guys are trying to get back to the top. And when they're at the top, it totally helps out your team. Both of these guys are doing it all. They are carrying their teams offenses. They flow through them. When their running back is running well, everyone is playing well. So exciting to see both of these guys playing some great football. It's going to be exciting to see what happens in the second half, because I think who can never play better will control this game.
Yeah, we talked about Clarence Hicks before the game. I want to talk about him a little bit now. And he's going up against Stanley Bryant, who Stanley Bryant is the Hall of Fame tackle. There's no question about it. One of the best to ever do it. But he is outmatched in space against Clarence Hicks. Take a look at some of these right now. Look at the sack, first of all. And Stanley Bryant's best chance against the speed of Hicks is to get his hands on him. But watch Hicks, again, working with John Bowman out there, who's great with his hands. As soon as he swipes, right there, Hicks just slaps his hands, and then watch this dip. The lean, that's dirty right there. Gets right to Zach. It was all on display from Clarence Hicks. Watch this. The fake outside jab gets the other tackle out. Gets the lean outside. Just the fake. I'm going to split the double team now. That's on their prize free agent, Jarrell Broxton. Just a little outside fake, enough to get him lean outside, and then split that double team. And then once you got him leaning, pow! Hit him with the power. Not that I've ever done it, but I've seen it before. I've seen it before. All day long. And then there's one again, that last one again, same thing. Just pressure from Hicks all game long. They're going to have to double team him.
And look, if Vernon Adams Jr. plays the way that he is, Hicks is going to get to rush even more. And that's what I want to talk about right now. Vernon Adams Jr., he's playing so well. And the biggest thing for me, yes, he's making good decisions. But what I'm seeing from Vernon Adams Jr. tonight is that he is very comfortable. Yes, we know he can make plays in the open field, and we heard it in the first half. He is one of the best in the open field. But look at the type of decisions. He knows, okay, I got a receiver down here. Let me check it down right here. Yes, we never talk about, hey, don't throw the ball cross field. But he's so comfortable in his offense. And he's making the right decisions, and he's fighting his receivers down the field. He's doing a tremendous job tonight of carrying this offense. He knows what he's doing. And this is the level of comfort that comes with that continuity that we're talking about in the beginning of the night.
Quickly, is there any concern for Zach here? 58 yards in that first half. I mean, are we going to have to see something more from him in the second?
Without a doubt. And, you know, I'm going to pump the brakes because it was just the first half, but he needs to start playing some better football.
I think in that first half, the biggest difference is that both defenses are moving the quarterback off their spots. The difference is when Zach's getting moved off the spot, he's not being effective.
He's being
VA's game.
And when VA,
that's his game.
He's okay.
Out of the pocket, but VA's also stepped up in the A and B gaps and made big throws. That's been the difference, both off the spot. But VA's had success.
He's so comfortable.
We asked for a great game, and so far, so good. We got ourselves a 5-point football game.
Don't stop.
The first Friday night football of the season brings us to Calgary for a big West Division battle. Brady pushes through. Touchdown, Winnipeg! Way down the field. Drops it in there. Hauled in. Right up the middle. Touchdown, Calgary. To the
Hey guys, it's Dasha here, and I'm so excited that I'll be headlining the second annual Calgary Stampede Bowl, July 2nd. Get your tickets now. It's going to be a party. See you guys there.
Well, how awesome is this? It'll be Dasha that will be the headliner at halftime for the Stampede Bowl on July the 2nd. Her hit song, Austin Boot Stop, working currently a 49-time platinum single. It went on to become one of the most streamed country songs in 2024. Milt just plays it on repeat every single day at work. We can't wait for that game. We will be there, by the way, live. Milt's going to race the cow. No big deal. By the way, week one wraps up Saturday. We will be in the nation's capital as well. The Ottawa Red Blacks welcome the Edmonton Elks to town. You can see it 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. Joined now by our CFL insider, Dave Naylor. And Dave, earlier this week, a Quebec City journalist and radio host, Sylvain Bouchard, reported that the CFL has been in serious talks with business and civic leaders in the city over a proposed expansion team and a new 25,000-seat stadium. This is a story that understandably has grabbed a lot of attention across the league this week. What is your reaction to this news?
Well, Kate, when you consider some of the things that Stuart Johnston has said about expansion during his time as commissioner and the way he's gone about his job in general, I don't think this should come as a complete surprise. Go back to his opening address. He said expansion was not a top priority. But now that he's changed some of the rules in the field dimensions, introduced a new playoff format, and negotiated a series of media deals, the top of his to-do list is kind of complete, so it makes sense that he would want to explore expansion. Expansion is new. It represents change. It represents growth, momentum, all things that the commissioner endorses. And when he has been asked about expansion, he said that when the time comes, he would be focused on Canada as opposed to U.S. expansion. That really only leaves two alternatives, either the East Coast, where the CFL has tried to plant its flag for a very long time, many times, and Quebec City, a market roughly the same size as Winnipeg, more than 800,000 in its metro population. Of course, the Laval Rouge et Or of U Sports is very popular there, but they only play 4 regular season games a year, and you can see why a market of that size may be able to accommodate both that team and a CFL team, along with the development of a new stadium. So what does this mean in terms of timelines? Very, very difficult to predict, but we do know this about the commissioner: he likes to work fast.
Well, in Calgary, they are honoring the 2001 Stampeder team who won the Grey Cup. You know who they beat?
Who they beat?
The Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Man, who's on that team?
Milts?
I did my part.
Wow. What a me guy.
Wow.
A beautiful Friday night in Calgary, 21-16. The Stamps lead in what has become a battle of the running backs. And Brady Oliveira standing by with our Danielle Bing.
Brady, this is a new offense. What's it feeling like out there as you guys start to gel and build chemistry?
Yeah, it's good. Like you said, we got to continue to, build that chemistry. Obviously, new offense coordinator. I think we're doing a great job. We played a, good first half. I think we got to stay on the field a little bit more, put longer drives together, and ultimately finish with 6.
I talked to Diedrich, who says he loves going up against you. It pushes him and motivates him. What do you love most about a good old-fashioned running back duel?
I love it. Obviously, me being a running back, the option to run first, pass second, I love it. But at the end of the day, whatever it's going to take to get the job done, we got to go out there and play great 2 quarters of football, and hopefully by the end of this, walk away with a victory.
Good luck in the rest of the game.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, they certainly could walk away with a victory, still trailing by just 5. Here's a look at those first half numbers. That time of possession is interesting because that's what Brady said. They got to stay on the field a little bit more, Suits.
Yeah, if they're on the field, Diedrich Mills isn't. He had 11 carries for 95 yards. Oliveira had 75 yards, as you saw. So it has been the show of the running backs in that first half. Defenses have to make their adjustments, maybe even a little run blitz, and try to cancel those gaps up front.
Castillo will get us started. Second half of McMahon is underway. McAllister Mercer takes it cleanly at the 15. Finds some blocking and pushes it out. Trying to get to the 40. And he'll be stopped just short.
So, you know, offensively, you think when you're having success in one area of the game, you stick with it until the defense stops it. And then you have to adapt from there. So you've got to believe that both these teams will say, hey, in the second half, unless they start to stop it, we're going right back to that run game.
Vernon Adams, 115 and a touchdown. Had a big strike for 51 to Philpott. Philpott's only catch of the first half. Now they're going to get it to Philpott. Has some blocking set up, pushes it out just beyond the 45, and that's a way to get Jalen Philpott involved in the offense.
Yeah, it is, and it also, you see that in this play that the Bombers have brought their safety, Greta Cramdy, down low on that first down play, and that's to help with the run defense. That's a free safety. He's got to think pass first back in that secondary, but if you're getting gouged by the run, you got to start to put more people up in the box.
8 yards to Philpott. He's closing in on 60. This time, they'll hand it off. Didn't need much, but didn't really get anything as the Bombers defense starts the half with a stop of Mills.
This is Tony Jones. It's going to scrape to this one. Wilson from inside out. Jones gets turned around, and he gets involved in that tackle as well. And you can see Cramdy, the safety, down close to the line of scrimmage.
Third and a couple. They're not going to mess around. Calgary will kick it away. Mark Vassett. Average 50 yards a kick. Will have the wind at his back as he drops one just inside the 20. Kolaris will have the ball when we return to Calgary.
The battle of the tailbacks. Let's see what Brady Oliveira did in the first half. 9 carries, 75 yards, has the touchdown. His longest run in that first half was a 21-yarder. These two tailbacks putting on a show. Now the defenses have to start getting on that whiteboard and saying, okay, which gaps are they hitting and which ones do we have to cancel?
Kolaris threw just 8 passes in the first half. That one down to the 45, broken up by Webb as he tried to find Tim White. White had a 19-yard catch in the first half, couldn't complete that one.
Yeah, you know, I really think the sun is a problem on that side. When the ball is coming on that angle, it just looked like Tim White was ready, and then he tried to judge it, and it kind of hit him rather than reaching out to catch it. There's Damon Webb. Got the assist there.
So it'll be a 2nd and 10 on their own 27 for the Bombers. Led this game 8-0, but then gave up 21 points in the second quarter. Now they trail 21-16. And flags fly here on a time count violation.
New timing rules this year. 35-second running clock.
Time count violation. Winnipeg number 8. It's 5-yard penalty.
So
Remaining second down.
At the end of the play, the 35-second starts, you have to have the ball snapped and your substitutions made and the ball snapped before the end of that 35 seconds.
That's the first time that it's factored into this game that we've had to bring it up tonight.
Exactly, but that first quarter went by very smooth.
It was moving
very
quick.
Few penalties, and I'm actually quickly becoming a fan of this 35-second idea.
After the infraction, the play clock goes to 20, and now it ticks down towards 0. He'll get it off this time. Kolaris deep in the pocket. Far side has a man that's complete. Wilson found himself open, and he hauls it in. 3 targets of Wilson in the first half. This is his first here, and he's got a catch.
Yeah, this is a deep, deep out, and Wilson is going to make this catch with the sun in his eyes, but that is a big boy throw from Zach Collaros. He is deep in the pocket when he lets this go. Has to get it out to the sideline before Damon Webb comes downhill on it. And he got it done.
Longest completion of the game for Collaros. First and 10 from the Winnipeg 47. And now they'll give it to Dembski. He's got some room to the 40. And Webb will eventually track him down with some help from Markel Lee. 23 yards. First touch of the game for Dembski.
So, I can't really believe that this is the first time we're mentioning number 10 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And it's not on a throw and catch. Basically on a run play, which he does and has throughout his career. 3 straight years over 1,000 yards catching the ball. But you'll see him run it a ton.
Not a bad idea to get Dembski involved. Now Brady out of the slot to the left for Collaros. And they're going to set up a screen for Dembski again. Nice tackle that time. Made on the play by Moncrief. And a little bit of a limp there for Nick.
Late in that tackle, got right around the ankle, I think. Moncrief, it's a clean hit. Just with the helmet right in that thigh and knee area. We'll see. Staying in the game, though.
Dembski on the field. And now he'll move over to the right and come into block. He'll hand it off to Brady. Heavy collision.
Oh, yeah.
Spins off of it and is just short of a first down.
Yeah, they're starting to get, you know, the defense, both defenses went in at halftime and said, okay, time to lower the pad level. Time to get in there and start hitting people. Markel Lee, middle linebackers, is one of them. On the outside there, Kyle Wilson. He steps in. He's got with the big contact there. Damon Webb from the secondary joining in.
Third and short. They'll hand it off and a good push ahead. No problem there as Perkins gets the job done again. He's been efficient in that role thus far this evening.
Because, you know, the guys that it bothers the most when the offenses are running the ball well, those linebackers. Oh, yeah, they are not happy campers. They come out in the second half saying, okay, that is it. Derek Moncrief's getting more involved. See Lee up at the line of scrimmage. See if they can get it done, even though they want to.
7th play of the drive for Winnipeg. Collaros on the run to his right, loves to do this, looks down the field, has nowhere to go, and just drops it off in the direction of Ontario Wilson.
Really interesting play calling here from their new offensive coordinator, Tommy Condell. We mentioned that he comes over from Ottawa. He's been the offensive coordinator for a lot of different teams, and he's worked with Zach back in Hamilton 16-17 when he was real young. But you get an idea of how Tommy Condell will call plays. You see the Dembski moves, Dembski on that wide fly sweep, and then he comes back and fakes it to Dembski on an end around, and then goes back to Oliveira.
2nd and 10 for Collaros here. Pressure gets it away, and Wilson's got it. There's a flag at the tail end of the play, but Pokey Wilson hauls it in.
The idea in that play calling, just to finish that thought, is if you have a series that all looks the same, little grabbing and pulling going on down the field there. Anthony Johnson, Pokey Wilson.
Wilson going to work on Anthony Johnson on this drive. Left him in the dust on the far side as he cut back
Pass
for that
interference,
25-yard
number
catch.
44. Automatic first down on the spot of the foul.
And now Johnson takes the pass interference penalty.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question here, though. This was a mauling. You saw it from the other angle. Not allowing Wilson to get out of his break there, and that's well down the field.
1st and 10 on the Calgary 15 for Collaros, trying to engineer a touchdown drive. 3rd trip to the red zone today. Collaros dumps it off, and it is dropped by Neal. He's been very good so far in this game, but that one slips through his hands.
Yeah, it took a peek. He took a peek. Touchdown Tommy, they call him, or Andy. He took a peek here, looked at where he wanted to run before he caught it. That head turn just as the ball was arriving, but
oh, another 2nd and 10 on this drive. 10-play drive. The work from the Calgary 15. Collaros with time. End zone touchdown! Tim White has his first as a Bomber, and Winnipeg goes back on top.
Come on, boy. Yeah!
you got a route runner like Tim White in your receiving core. You just can't give Zach Collaros this kind of time in the pocket. I mean, he had time to wait for Tim White to throw as many moves as he really wanted to down the end zone. Calgary defensively moved Clarence Hicks into the interior of the defensive line. David Sanchez showed you at halftime how Hicks was doing a nice job coming off the edge, even against Stanley Bryan, but he's got caught up in the middle there, and lots of time for Zach to wait for Tim White to run his route, come back to
Calgary is challenging the previous play for offensive pass interference. Play will be reviewed.
Challenge from Calgary for offensive pass interference.
You'd have to see that Tim White looked like they felt like Tim White might have pushed off. I didn't notice it live, but
first look at it when we were watching it live, I mean, maybe a little bit create that separation. Let's give another look at it.
Yeah, let's take a look. Here he is right here. That's Tim White. Damon Webb is the halfback up by the goal line. He'll play like a man concept into the boundary there, and we don't see him out of her screen, so depends on what angles the replay center has. That's Webb there. He's going to basically pick him up in this zone look, and then becomes man there. I
see the one hand, the left hand sort of
a little bit of a
quick look at it. Let's get the call.
After review by the replay center, the ruling on the field stands. It's a touchdown. Calgary, by losing a challenge, has lost a timeout.
All that talking.
Dave Dickinson not happy, but Tim White loves it. And the Bombers will be on top, 22-21 with an extra point pending here from Castillo. And he sneaks that one through. 23-21. The visitors lead here at McMahon. Tim White. Bombers fans are going to love this guy. 31 touchdowns over the last 4 years with the Ticats for Tim White, and he's got his first one at the end of this drive.
And it's a good drive, too. Zach Collaros going to work. He got Wilson on the sideline for a big throw and catch, and then that end-around sweep to Nick Dembski got him involved, and then faked it a couple of times to Dembski, and this is from the pocket. Tim White, good protection up front. 10 plays, 83 yards in over 5 minutes. What a drive for Winnipeg.
And we've got a 2-point ball game midway through the third quarter. And McAllister will take a knee once more, and now it's a 3-point ball game here in Calgary as the Bombers lead by a field goal. VA trailing will have the ball when we return to Calgary. From fire comes darkness. Catch up on the epic HBO original hailed as breathtaking before the new season begins. It's House of the Dragon, June 21st, only on Crave. As the sun sets here in Calgary, a back-and-forth affair between the Bombers and Stampeders. We've been talking about the running backs battling back and forth. Vernon Adams has 123 yards and a touchdown. Zach has 126 yards and a touchdown. So they've been evenly matched so far tonight as well. A ton of time here for Adams. He'll go far side, laid it out there, and it's hauled in. Dejon Brissett, there's a flag back by the quarterback. Well, what a catch from Brissett.
I think it's coming back.
Holding, Calgary number 65. 10-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Christy Nakanu took some time, a little bit of a double team up at the top there. Great catch down the field. It just won't count with the holding.
A penalty aside, Brissett's going to be a nice weapon for VA. Yeah. He's going to love him.
Oh, yeah.
So after the penalty, it'll be a 1st and 20. Adams, 7 of 14.
Oh, what happened here?
I think this is a time count against the Stampeders.
Time count violation. Calgary number 3. It's 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So it will not be 1st and 20. It'll be 1st and 25.
1st and Red Deer.
1st and very long here. It'll be empty backfield for Adams. Near side has Jones. And Jones, first catch of the game for him, forced out of bounds on the near sideline by Major Williams.
Yeah, this is something that Vernon Adams talked to us about this week with regards to, at times, you know, going into manage mode. And that doesn't mean to surrender or stop trying to win or anything like that. It means understand your situation, and sometimes it's not terrible to punt and reset. See what they do here, but this is a long one, and you don't want to force it in your own end.
2nd and 18. Winnipeg just sends for VA on the run to his right, and now he's going to take off. Adams cuts it back in, and that ball is out. Winnipeg's on it. Fumble from Vernon Adams, and the Bombers defense takes over. Dietrich Nichols with the hit on Adams, and the first turnover of the game comes at a critical time.
Yeah, and I'm not sure of the decision here. I get that Vernon Adams got outside. He can make plays when he gets outside of the pocket. Doesn't have anyone in his face, and now he's running. He got to get 20 yards to get the first down, and gets a hit by Dietrich Nichols. Now, you shouldn't be surprised by Dietrich Nichols bringing up and getting his nose dirty. Don't be surprised by the 5'9" Dietrich Nichols. He hits as hard as anybody in the league.
Two-time All-Star, fumble recovered by Retta Cramdy. And now Winnipeg with the 3-point cushion gets the ball back on the Calgary 50. Pressure in the face of Clark.
Oh,
this is up for grabs, and it's taken back away by Calgary. Immediately the Stampeders take the ball back. What a turn of events here at McMahon as that ball up for grabs and hauled in. Tremont Morris Brash, the takeaway.
been to the Grey Cup since 2018. They're continuing to pursue their long-term vision and are going with a similar roster to last season. This year, however, they have the opportunity to pursue a Grey Cup appearance here in Calgary at McMahon Stadium. Now, when it comes to that Grey Cup pressure, I asked a couple players and head coach Dave Dickinson what the chatter's been like around that. Dickinson says that right at the beginning of training camp, they brought it up when they were setting goals and expectations, but after that, it'll be more of a week-to-week, game-to-game type of mindset. It's such a long season. Dedrick Mills says that the guys will mention it here and there as a way to keep motivating each other, but nothing really changes when it comes to the ultimate goal. A championship is always what they're pushing for, no matter where it takes place. Last time a team won the Grey Cup at home was the Rough Riders back in 2013, guys.
Well, it's not that long of wait. It'll be a good one.
And probably a country act, right?
I don't know, man. There's some stars from Calgary. We'll have to see. Now this is handed off up to the 50.
Yeah, some adjustments made on the run game. But back-to-back turnovers, sometimes it's not about the total number of turnovers in a game. It's about the timing of them. And the Bombers had a chance here to really grab momentum after their turnover and gave it right back. A little tip at the line of scrimmage, and Morris Brash in Central Florida.
The Calgary offense gets a chance to reload. As time again, now flushed under the pocket on the run. To his right, takes off, hangs onto the ball, and picks up the first down.
That's the second time in a row that Vernon Adams has got that right edge. Take a look at the defensive schemes that the Bombers are running over there, but you're going to have to harden that edge and not let them outside. Almost impossible to cover from a secondary point of view when the quarterback is out on the run like that.
26 rushing yards so far tonight for Vernon Adams. First and 10 from the Winnipeg 42. Adams, all the time in the world, drops it off near side, and that is hauled in. First catch of the game for Genesis.
Part of just, taking a look back at the plays, part of what the defensive line for Winnipeg was doing is trying to pinch to take away Dedrick Mills. So with that big first half for Mills, now ends like Willie Jefferson and Kadron Jenkins are starting to pinch a little bit more and come inside, and that's given the corner to Vernon Adams.
Serezna, Jefferson, and the Winnipeg defense trying to pump the brakes on this drive for the Bombers defense. Adams looks to his right, nothing there. Now to the left, can't find anything. Now he's going to have to take off on the run. Near sideline, gunned it in there, but Brissett could not hang on. Calgary will have a chance to tie this game with a field goal attempt.
A little bit wider there at the bottom for Deshaun Dixon to get outside, and eventually Vernon Adams does get the edge.
And we'll get a look at Jude McAtamney out of Rutgers. 45-yard attempt just inside the left hash. That one is up, and it is wide right into the hands of Temple. And they will gobble him up, and good thing they did. Did return a missed field goal last year for a touchdown. And they'll get him just outside the 10.
Yeah, Rene Paredes not available. But again, there's a handful of players like Paredes, mentioned him earlier, but Paredes, a couple of defensive linemen, a couple of starting receivers like Reggie Bagleton, Clark Barnes, that Dave Dickinson just wants to be a little more careful with coming out of the season opener, and a little body language. Not quite.
That's why you've liked having Paredes for 247 straight games.
Yeah.
Played 247 in a row until tonight. Winnipeg still leads by 3, and that one is dropped for Gorin. Couldn't hang on.
Big down here. Momentum-wise, second and long. 3-point lead. I feel like screen draw would be an interesting choice here. Bob Slowick, he sends some pressure. Is he going to drop off and hope that Zach throws it underneath?
Just 4 rushing yards for Brady in the half. They're going to throw. Polaris dumps it off, finds his running back. Brady Oliveira trying to break a tackle, but he's wrapped up. That is some fine work by Marquel Lee.
Marquel Lee missing all those games, but got off to such a great start to the season last year. I mean, he looked like he was on an early all-star pace, and this is a big tackle. So Slowick, that you saw just before this call, does go with a 4-man rush and drops everyone in zone, hoping that Zach will throw it underneath to his running back, and then his guy will make the tackle, and he got the job done just short.
Winnipeg is going to go for it on their own 23.
Get him offside is might be the
3rd and a yard.
Nope,
they are going to go. And Perkins pushes it ahead. Looks like the spot will be enough. O'Shea didn't even think about it for very long. Like, he found out it was a yard and instantly sent that team in.
Well, he got it. Moving the chains.
Only needed the 24.
Yeah, that hesitation, though, was risky. Let's put it that way for the Bombers. Deep in their own end on a 3rd down and 1.
40 seconds left to play in the 3rd quarter. Wind here at McMahon has started to die down a bit. They give it to White, and White will turn it back upfield, but really nowhere to go. Managed to get about 3 yards on the play.
Similar to that play to Nick Dembski. Another 2nd and long, and Calgary's defense has been going with 4-man pressure in these situations. And a couple of times where they brought Clarence Hicks inside, it almost neutralized him a little bit. They're leaving him on the edge now, right out here.
Final play, 3rd quarter. Polaris, Brady Oliveira, 1st down and a little bit more for good measure as he takes it out to the 43-yard line in Winnipeg. And their offense will continue to march here at the end of the 3rd quarter. Bombers on the road after losing 3 times to Calgary last year. They've got a lead, 24-21. 4th quarter action coming up on Friday Night Football. Welcome back to Calgary. Stampeders trailing 24-21 after 3 quarters. Big 4th quarter coming up here. And at halftime is a special moment as there's Coach Wally Bono as they celebrated the 25th anniversary of the 2001 Grey Cup champion Stampeders, a game that was won against the Bombers, who they are playing tonight. And thank you for the time. How you doing, Coach?
No, I'm doing great, and you know what? It's really nice to be back to Calgary, and it's nice to, you know, celebrate with the players and the staff and coaches that helped us win the 2001 Grey Cup.
So, Coach, do you miss it? Do you miss being on the sideline? Come on, be honest.
No, I don't. I keep telling my wife, boy, I'm a good coach, a couch coach, right? So, you know, yeah, I had a great career. We had a lot of great people around us. But you know what? It's time now for other people.
Well, a pretty good group of coaches across the league. Here's Polaris down the field, drops one in there. He's got White again, and break a tackle and take it down inside the 50. Let's take a look at this season that you guys put together in 2001. Slow start, but you got hot at the right time.
Well, that's true, and then obviously we got some injuries, and we didn't have the quarterbacking we've used to have with Dave Dickinson going down to San Diego. So it took us a while to become a better football team, but it was at the right time.
14-4 Bombers in the Grey Cup, and you guys, one of the biggest upsets in Grey Cup history. I want to ask you about a couple of the guys in that game, though, that I've always been intrigued with. Mark Boerichter. Tell me about Mark Boerichter.
Well, you know, Mark Boerichter was 6'5", 215-pound receiver that ran 4.4, and
unreal, eh?
You know, and he's not an easy man to cover. And you know, when we had Vince Danielson and Travis Moore, pick your poison, and they wanted to take away Travis Moore, which we let them, and we worked with them with Vince and Mark.
Back-to-back 18-yard plays here for the Bombers. Now they'll give it to Brady, and he pushes it ahead, bullies his way down inside the 20.
Been quite the show of the running backs here in this game with Dedrick Mills, and you like that old smash mouth Sal.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, you have to have a running game, because when the weather starts to turn, you got to be able to run the football. And you know, Winnipeg's had a lot of great success. Calgary's had a lot of great success, and the teams that win today can run the football. And you know, at the end of the day, football's still a physical game, and the line of scrimmage helps you. Oh, Calvin Anderson was one of those.
He was okay, wasn't he? He was pretty good. Bit of a game changer. Here's Kolaris. Three-step drop, far side, finds White again, and he'll be wrapped up and taken out. Coach, with that team and the start that you guys had, what was there a moment during the season where you thought we might have something special brewing here?
No. Here's what happened. Fred Childress and Thomas Ram, you know, after week 13, 14, I can't remember, they were so disgusted with the way things were going, as far as, you know, not tending to detail, not working hard, that they had a kind of a team meeting. They chewed everybody out, and they said, hey, we're better than this. All we got to do is just, you know, commit to ourselves. And they started to do that, and when, you know, it's the players. You know, at the end of the day, the players are the ones that push the players, and they had the great leadership, and, you know, from there they willed themselves into a great guy.
You've won more games than any coach in CFL history. And, you know, I look at those top 5 names, that's just like, it's like the Mount Rushmore. Yeah. What does it take to win in football?
Well, you know, the best teams don't win, the best coaches don't win, but the best organizations win.
Outside,
you know, the
penalties,
the environment that's created in the locker room, on the practice field, and anything and everything you do is what it does. And, you know, it just happens. And, you know, you can't put your finger on it. Why? I wish I could, but you can't. And all of a sudden, you know, the team just, and they become invincible.
Castile will step in here for a 6-point lead. Just a 21-yard attempt, and he's able to knock it through. Wally, we appreciate the time. Thanks a lot for coming by.
Thank you. Always my pleasure.
It looked like a fun celebration, and congratulations on the 25-year anniversary.
Thank you. Well, hopefully we'll see another great Grey Cup again this year.
Oh, I'm sure we will. Thanks, and of course, that will be right here in Calgary. And both of these two teams looking good early. Welcome back to Calgary. Dedrick Mills, 13 carries, 97 yards so far in this game, but he had 95 yards in the first half. I know Calgary hasn't had the ball as much in the second half as they did in the first half, but you probably try to get him going again, don't you?
Yeah, but that you do, but not if you're just breaking your head against the wall, because the Bombers have made adjustments on their defensive line and linebacking core.
Second half, a 2-and-out, a fumble, and a missed field goal for the Stampeders. They just know where to go.
Well, they're canceling the gaps and pinching with their defensive line. It's a bit of an oversimplification, but these are the gaps right here. And in the first half, Dedrick Mills was hitting those gaps, and they were gouging them. But now they're filling the gaps. You see Wilson, Kyrie Wilson, step right into that A gap and saying, this is my gap. If I'm in it, we got to control the run game.
And that was the look with both McAllister and Mills in the backfield that time. 2nd and 10. Adams, 4-man pressure from the Bombers. Gets it away, has Jones. Jones breaks one tackle and pushes it ahead. Might have the first down, might be marked just short. Tackle from Jaden Woodbay.
Tevin Jones is intriguing. He's an intriguing player to me. And you know, I look at him at basically 6'3", 225 that can run. He's as close to that kind of Bo Richter type guy that Wally was talking about.
I think he's always viewed as a good complementary receiver, but he can have big games, and he has had big games. They're going to go for it short here, and that'll be picked up by Vaughn and a first down for Calgary.
You're talking about the game when he was with the Edmonton Elks, came here to Calgary and put 200 on the board and 2 touchdowns. And so that's what he's capable of, but you know, he needs the opportunity from his quarterback for sure. But he's tough to tackle, and I think that's what makes him so intriguing to me, and what he could possibly accomplish.
Biggest of the bodies among the receiving group for Calgary. This is Deshaun Dixon, who is down right now at Norfolk State. Spent a couple of years in the Jacksonville Jaguars organization. And the 27-year-old is down on the field. And the training staff for the Bombers out to take a look at him. And as they get a closer look at Dixon, we will step away at McMahon. The CFL will be back tomorrow as the Edmonton Elks play the Ottawa Redblacks. Catch all the action at 6:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on TSN. That's a good early season matchup as well. Jake Mayer and the Redblacks against Cody Fajardo and the Double E.
Former quarterback starter here in Calgary, Jake Mayer, gets the start in Ottawa. That's the what do you got game. That's a what do you got game of the weekend. We got to see how much these two teams, Ottawa and Edmonton, have improved.
Less than 10 minutes to go here on Friday Night Football. Adams assessing the situation and now has to throw it away with pressure in his face.
That's the decision we're talking about right there. We're talking about today, and he says, you know, Vernon Adams been in a lot of games. This is not his first year in the CFL. It's year 10. So, you know, when you think about evolution of a quarterback, sometimes that play and that decision is the best choice you have. Gives you a chance to regroup, and you can go second and long.
2nd and 10, pretty much in midfield here. Calgary down by 6. Adams in trouble. Willie's there, and he won't get away. Bombers defense comes up huge.
William Barnes, welcome to the starting tackle position against one of the best in the game's history off the edge. Watch these hands and that rip move. The long arms, quick hands, and rip move underneath by number 5. Around the corner into Vernon Adams before he had the time to load it.
Jefferson, first sack of the season. Had 3 last year to go along with those 16 knockdowns. Towering kick. Hangs up there forever. 52 yards. Babel to stumble. Now regains. Finds some room. And he'll get to the 42 before he's taken down. Bombers defense cooking here in the second half, and Babel helps with the field position.
BMT, baby.
Come on down to Winnipeg. 12 years in the league. How about these numbers, Suits?
Well, he wants to get to 100 sacks on the season. I saw an article written in the offseason about that. And he wants to catch Eddie Davis in the knockdown department. He's 15 away there. And I think it's realistic that he can get both this year. Still got game in him.
Now the veteran quarterback will reset things for the Bombers with a lead. They'll hand it off to Brady right up the middle, and he's got a big chunk on first down. That'll go for 7. With the lead, they have the luxury of continuing to feed Brady Oliveira, who now is just 1 yard away from a 100-yard game.
Go ahead.
Say he has it.
Yeah, go ahead here with short yardage. Take some time off the clock as well.
Perkins pushing it ahead. Be close. See where they spot this ball.
You mentioned Brady Oliveira and his low touchdown totals.
Yeah.
You know, and with Chris Strevler in their lineup in the last couple of years, I think that's really affected that stat for Brady Oliveira. You know, they got down around the 5-yard line, and it was a Strevler time. Now, I'm not sure if that strategy will stay here now with Bryce Perkins being the short yardage guy, but
he does have a touchdown tonight. Perkins does.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brady, the last 2 years combined, 6 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown, but over 3,500 rushing receiving yards.
Yeah.
So the production has still been there in many ways, just the touchdowns have been down ever so slightly. Now Polaris, a ton of time, steps up, looking for Dembski, and that is incomplete.
He wanted the deep route. He was stepping into that like he was going to deliver a deep ball, and the coverage down the field, I think just it changed his mind. Let's just watch Zach here. After this play action, he's got a deep drop, stepping up like he wants to really step into it, and that pressure, that little bit of flash of pressure off the outside, I think changed his mind. Coverage probably down the field as well. We're looking at a 2nd and 10.
A big 2nd and 10 as Calgary would love to get the ball back here, trailing by just 6. Empty backfield for Polaris. 4-man pressure, gets it away, and that is complete. First catch of the game, first target of the game for Gavin Cobb.
A little bit like a goalie in hockey that's not getting a lot of shots. You got to stay mentally ready because it's going to come at some point. Everybody matters on the field. You got to be ready when your opportunity comes up. This is a 2nd and 10, key situation. Gavin Cobb, former Edmonton Eskimo draft pick. Nice catch for a first down.
Former Manitoba Bison as well. 7th different player with a catch in this game. That one goes for 14. 1st and 10 from the Calgary 47. Back to Brady. Nowhere to go. Great tackle, Jaden Grant.
Yeah, Jaden Grant played the play. You know, sometimes your coaches will say, no matter what your assignment, if you smell it out and you see it and you know you've done your film work, play the play. He came in to stop the run. He knew they were giving it to Brady, and he played the play. You know, rather than go through the steps, I've got to go to my assignment, I got to drop to here, then I read the play, then I go. No, play it, go. Skip all those other steps.
It's led to a 2nd and 9. Don't want to leave everybody open, but here's Kolaris down the field. No! Incomplete, was looking for Wilson. And that'll bring up 3rd down.
Anthony Johnson was in coverage right on his shoulder and did a nice job to not get the PI here. You're going to see great one-on-one matchup. A speed turn by Johnson to get outside. Don't grab him. Don't grab him. And he did.
Jamison Sheen will come out to kick it away. This will be into the wind. And he'll drive it low. Taken just inside the 10 by Brooks. And he's wrapped up and taken down.
During the turn, holding, Calgary number 25. After this is the goal, first down Calgary.
Vernon Adams gets the ball with less than 4 minutes to play. Trailing by 6. And this drive will start inside the 10. They're moving the ball here. There's a discussion
like a late
from the officials. So they placed the ball at the 6. Give us the explanation here.
Well, let's see where Brooks got to, because he's at the 10 right there, the 12.
Did he step out of bounds when he caught the ball?
That's the only explanation.
That has to be what it is.
That's the only explanation.
All right, so 1st and 10 from the 6. Adams in trouble and taken down. It's Serezna. Second sack of the game in his first game for the Bombers for Jake Serezna.
Working right on that edge. Basically a bull rush and then cut back underneath. Not allowing one of the top athletic quarterbacks in the league to escape.
Adams will take this snap in his own end zone. Goes right over the middle. That's it there. Excellent throw. Even better catch from Philpott.
Come on.
And that takes us to the 3-minute warning here in Calgary. Philpott
threads the needle.
Got him in business.
Ice in his veins, big play VA. This isn't a deep ball, but this is a big-time throw. Hands over, 3 defenders in the area, threads the needle, 2nd and long in his own end zone. Come on.
And it led to a first down at the Calgary 17. Now they'll go on the ground right up the middle. It's been a while since we've seen them get that running game going, but it's 8 for Mills, and that gives him 100 yards on the evening.
Yeah, but Coach Dustin called for this a long time ago.
Thank you. I did, didn't I?
Yes, you did. You said, aren't they going to go back to Dedrick Mills? There you go.
Back to him again. Trying to push ahead, will not win this battle, but it is enough for a first down.
Got a drive going here, another new set of downs, but I just want to, no, we don't have time. That throw from the end zone's big time.
You want to see it again?
Well, look at the crossbars in his, look, right in there, nice.
Here's Adams looking to throw again, in trouble, taken down. How about a hat trick of sacks for Serezna? What a debut.
Little bit of a game between he and Willie Jefferson. Jefferson's going to work this way and Serezna around the edge.
Now they're going to move quick. Far side. That is hauled in and trying to reach ahead for the first down. It's Tevin Jones. And he's going to be about a yard shy.
Yeah, but close enough to go here, without question. Not even a gamble at this point.
3rd and a yard. 2:20 on the clock. Friday Night Football. Can VA keep this drive alive? Now he's just going to step up under center, trying to find some space. Jumping over this is going to be closer than they would have liked. But they got it. Wasn't a smooth operation. Looked like he might have stumbled, or it was a little jump. 1st and 10 on the Calgary 39. VA over the middle. Deep field. Nichols in coverage. Didn't matter. Philpott's got it again.
Leaning in big time to Jalen Philpott. He's that slot in the short side of the field on the dig. Again, defenders all around him. PA puts it on.
15 more for Philpott, sitting at 89 for the game. Bombers in 4. Adams near side. That is caught in the lunge ahead. As it's Philpott again.
Grabbing that calf. Tyreek McAllister coming in the game. Philpott made that catch and then like he slipped or stumbled a little bit going out of bounds, and now they're looking at the calf.
What a finish we've got setting up here on the first Friday nighter of the season. A drive that started on the Calgary 6 has gone 10 plays already, and the ball sits at the Winnipeg 50. 2nd and 4 for Adams. He's at 196 yards and a touchdown. Mills will stand in to his quarterback's right. Got McAllister at the top of the screen. Now they're going to go out into the flats. Pushing ahead. Mills has it. And it's close to another first down. Should be enough.
Tony Jones is a great linebacker and led the team in tackles, and that's a matchup out in the flat that he goes to the running back. Real quick speed to the flat from Tyreek McAllister.
Give you another look at it.
It was Dedrick Mills, coming out to the flat. He's just got the leverage on Tony Jones to get there. Good all-around football play. Might be tad short here, but again, 3-down football for Calgary right now.
Just be inches if it is short. Got it.
Got it.
Just enough. Drive continues for Calgary.
Which started inside the 10.
At the 6, it would be a 104-yard touchdown drive if they can finish the job here in their home opener. 3 receivers, wide side right of the field for Vernon Adams. Trying to put together a game-winning drive. Gets this one away. Jones hauls it in, working against Williams, and he'll step out of bounds with 1:43 on the clock.
Bombers have a defender down. Give Vernon Adams and Calgary and Dave Dickinson a little more time to.
That is Jaden Woodbay.
Couple of big time throws from Vernon Adams in this drive. I mean, that one coming out of the end zone, the dig to Jalen Philpott over the middle, another 2nd down throw, just standing in there slinging it.
Both Adams and Collaros have 16 completions for 206 yards. Exactly same numbers between the two quarterbacks.
See what happened to Jaden Woodbay right on the right-hand side of your screen, number 3. No contact here. He just sort of puts his foot in the ground and then grabs the calf. And hopefully it's not Achilles.
See the look of distress on his face.
Or see slide or close.
Tyreek McAllister and Dedrick Mills in the huddle.
This McAllister has thrown a very interesting wrinkle into what they can do offensively this year.
Win your one-on-ones. Win all one-on-ones right now.
You know what you're going to get from Mills. Philpott's still stretching things out.
Let's take a look at some of the big-time throws from VA on this drive. Down by 6, 3 minutes to go. And how about that one coming out of his own end zone on second and long. Then a deep out to Tevin Jones. Another dig to Jalen Philpott. Pressure coming. Steps in there. Look at the coverage.
12th play of the drive, 2nd and 2 for the Stampeders. Bombers defense trying to slow this thing down. They'll give it to Mills. Broke one tackle. Cramdy just missed him. And Dedrick Mills has a first down for the Stamps.
VA sells this play big time. Sometimes you want to get the Oscar for best acting or supporting actor. This is a handoff, and VA looks outside and pretends like he's going to throw it out to a hit screen.
Just over 90 seconds remaining. Adams pressured again. Gets it away. Over grabs. Incomplete. Brooks hammered by Cramdy, but Serezna causing all sorts of issues.
Well, you talked about Bomber fans are going to love Tim White. They're also going to love Jake Serezna. Their defensive line. He breaks through a double team at the line to cause some problems for Vernon Adams there. He did get it away.
Second and 10 for Adams. 3 down territory for sure. Trailing by a half dozen. 3 to the left, 3 to the right. Empty backfield. Adams deep drop. Has time. Doesn't like what he sees. Takes off to the left. Now down the field. Caught. Come inside the 5. What a catch from Brooks. And the Stampeders are knocking on the door.
Knocking on the door, and now you start thinking about the time that Zach Collaros might have left when he gets the ball back. A lot of work to be done still, but tons of time for Vernon Adams. Great protection up front. He bounces outside and finds Eric Brooks on the scramble drill.
What a catch from Brooks. Goes for 32. First and goal from the Winnipeg 3. 15th play of the drive that started on their own 6-yard line. Adams, he's going to keep it, and he walks in. Touchdown, Calgary. VA does it himself. And we are tied at 27 on Friday Night Football.
Why not? Dedrick Mills, everyone's focus is on 26. Little fake. Replay, he takes it, pulls the ball, gets to the corner, untouched. 104-yard drive with some big-time throws along the way.
And now we've got a rookie kicker kicking for the lead with 64 seconds left. That is up, and it is through ice in his veins. Jude Mikatamni gives Calgary the lead.
Mikatamni, that's a big one. Give him the lead, but 1 minute and 4, tons of time. Remember, the timing change doesn't affect the final 3 minutes of the half or the final 3 minutes of the game. So Zach Collaros has the same sort of mechanics that's always been in the CFL. One of the great pillars of Canadian football is the final 3 minutes. But let's take a look at Vernon Adams. A masterpiece drive from his own 6-yard line. In the shadow of his goalpost, threads a needle on 2nd and plus. Then he hits Tevin Jones. Stepping in after Jake Serezna's been harassing him all night and in this drive. Bounces outside. This big one to Eric Brooks. And then he keeps it off the edge to take the lead.
You know what? To start this drive, he was actually sacked, and they were on their 2-yard line.
That's what I mean.
And then drove the field. That is
2nd and plus,
stuff.
yeah.
And just 2 minutes and 48 seconds. And I mean, you can legitimately say Did you move too quickly? 64 seconds on the clock. Now, just to keep this in mind, Castillo will be kicking into a pretty strong wind. And we know he's gone for 60 plus each of the last 2 years. But there's a strong wind here in Calgary tonight.
And it is gusty. So we'll see. This guy could be a factor right out of the gate at the kickoff. Vavel.
4 house calls last year for Vavel. If he does it here, I'll lose my mind.
It's early, man.
I know.
Timeout. Calgary.
And I hear timeout Calgary. I saw Craig Dickinson in there. He was livid.
Maybe the discussion on should they kick it to Vavel or squib it, or I mean, this is the minute 4 is plenty of time, so they gotta crank this deep. Rely on the cover team, Calgary Stampeders. Vavel's almost stacked for the Bombers. They want Vavel to get the ball here.
He is standing on the 5-yard line on the hash mark. This will be booted away. He will get it. Vavel lets it bounce over his head. And that one will roll through the end zone.
So if it rolls through, the rule change on the Rouge is if it rolls through without being touched or conceded, it's not a point. So it remains a 1-point lead for Calgary. Zach Collaros, but no time comes off the clock on a return. So a very good decision by Vavel and by Coach O'Shea, and the field position when you allow the ball to go through the end zone like that is the 40-yard.
The 40-yard line. So this drive will start on the 40. All the time in the world here for Zach, needing just a field goal to win it. Collaros,
pressure
down the field, over the middle. Wilson hauls it in just inside the 45, and just like that, Winnipeg in very good position.
Calgary's going with pressure here, so it's a one-on-one matchup, and look at the leverage inside where Wilson has to now adjust to the throw. And he does it nicely to get close to field goal range.
27 yards to Pokey.
Probably another 10 to 15 yards for field goal range. So Brady Oliveira with 50 seconds left, he's in the mix here.
And he'll stand in behind Collaros as Castillo warms up the leg on the far sideline. And they'll give it to Brady. He'll push it ahead down inside the 40 to about the 38. About 5-yard pickup from Brady Oliveira.
Now the wind is a factor here, as you mentioned. So I'm thinking Winnipeg wants to get a little bit closer here. But again, do it without taking too much of the risk. Coaches used to say when you throw the ball, 3 things can happen and 2 of them are bad for the offense. Incomplete or interception.
20 seconds left in the game. Oliveira stands in behind Collaros. He'll give it to Brady. Pushes it ahead. Extra push from the big boys. And they'll take it down to about the 30 with 8 seconds on the clock.
Well, the only thing about this was it was the scrum, the rugby scrum was still moving. But by the way that Brady Oliveira cut inside, it looked like he wanted to get to the middle of the field for Castillo. And now it looks like the pile has taken him to the hash mark. How about that rugby scrum?
Everybody gets a piece of it.
And it is just inside that hash.
Vernon Adams Jr. watching on. Gave his team the lead with just a brilliant drive over the last few minutes. And now there's nothing he can do but watch. Bombers call a timeout. Sergio Castillo hit from 63 yards last year, had a 60-yarder in 2024.
Well, this is well within his range, Dustin.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a matter of that gusting wind in his face. They take a few more seconds and get it right in the middle.
Yeah, because they got that first down, they have the luxury of doing this, and they'll move it over to the left hash. And that is where Sergio Castillo will have a chance to win this ball game.
Well, Sergio Castillo likely told Coach O'Shea, put it on the hash mark.
Sergio Castillo, 48 of 56 last season, good for 85.7%. He's a career 85. What a way to wrap up Friday Night Football. It'll be Sergio Castillo to win it here at McMahon from 38 yards, just inside the left hash. The kick is up, and it is good. Knocks it home. Winnipeg walks it off and takes the season opener 30-28 over the Stampeders. What a finish.
What a start to the 2026 Canadian Football League season. Last night, big game in Hamilton, right down to the wire in overtime. Montreal wins that one. Tonight, walk-off field goal for Sergio Castillo and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. After a 104-yard drive by Vernon Adams to take a 1-point lead, and Castillo steps into this one, no problem.
Coach O'Shea loves it. And Winnipeg, after dropping all three to their division rival Calgary Stampeders last year, get the win to start the year. Looking forward to seeing these teams go at it again, though.
I mean, it is going to be a dogfight.
Back and forth.
What a great game. Both tailbacks put on a show. Both quarterbacks outstanding. Walk-off field goal.
Friday Night Football, not surprisingly, starts with a bang at McMahon, where the season will wrap with the Grey Cup at the end of the year. Bombers win it 30-28. Castillo, the walk-off hero. Good night from Calgary.